Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the mechanics of modern influence. Specifically, we're looking at the enduring dominance of Donald Trump. Now, how exactly does this level of influence operate? How does it sustain itself? And really, how does it force such a massive reaction in today's political environment? Well, let's break down the source material and find out exactly what's going on under the hood.
So our source text anchors us with this really interesting quote right out of the gate. Love him or criticize him, one fact remains clear. And, regardless of where you stand politically, the sheer architecture of his presence is just undeniable. We're keeping things strictly analytical here today to ask, how does a figure stay at the absolute center of the national conversation year after year? Let's take a look at the actual mechanics.
Section 1. The State of Politics.
Okay, so the crucial point here is how the text actually defines this dominance in the current political landscape. It's built on three active, ongoing processes. First, maintaining a fierce, constant connection with supporters. Second, drawing practically non-stop media attention. And third, actively shaping national debates to stay right at the center of the landscape. It's not just about holding an office or running your run-of-the-mill traditional campaign, no. It's an active formula for remaining the primary subject of conversation. When you combine those three elements together, you get this continuous, literally inescapable gravitational pull on the entire political landscape.
Which brings us to Section 2, Tools of the Trade.
Let's dive right into this. If continuous political dominance is the ultimate goal, well, these are the levers being pulled. The source highlights this distinct, totally self-sustaining feedback loop. You've got rallies, which ignite the base on the ground and create these highly visual, super energetic moments. Then you have interviews, which essentially force the traditional press to engage directly with his narrative. And finally, social media. That provides this instantaneous, completely unfiltered access to millions at a moment's notice. By rapidly cycling through these three specific channels, rallies, interviews, and social media, the headline is practically never allowed to shift. It's this non-stop cycle of influence that just consistently starves competitors of any political oxygen.
All right, moving on to Section 3, the ripple effect. So the big question is, how far does his impact actually extend? I mean, really think about that for a second. In a massive, unbelievably complex political system like the United States, where do the shockwaves of a single figure actually stop?
Now, what's really interesting here is how he essentially dictates the chessboard for both sides. The text notes that his actions actively set the baseline across the entire country. We see allies frequently finding themselves abandoning their more traditional platforms. Instead, they're aligning their messaging to match his specific tone or whatever newly chosen topics he's focused on. Meanwhile, his opponents, they are forced into this perpetually reactive stance. They end up spending their time, their campaign funds, and all their energy responding to the national debates that he initiates, rather than launching their own.
So what we're really looking at here is a fully affected ecosystem. Opponents react, allies align, and the media reports on all of it. Because he is just so incredibly effective at cycling through those tools of the trade we talked about earlier, this entire trinity is fundamentally forced to respond to him. It's like he acts as the sun in this political solar system, and these three groups, opponents, allies, and the media, are just constantly orbiting his gravity.
And that leads us to our final part, Section 4, an undeniable impact.
The mechanics we've mapped out today all lead to one very clear, objective reality from our source text. Trump still dominates U.S. politics. Those fiercely strong connections, the constant, unwavering media attention, and those multi-channel communication strategies, they all just work together seamlessly. It's an incredibly potent blueprint designed to secure an enduring position at the very top of the news cycle and squarely at the center of the American political consciousness.
Which leaves us with this final thought. If this dominance is truly enduring, how exactly will these mechanics shape the future of American political cycles? Are we looking at a temporary phenomenon here, or has the entire blueprint for political influence been permanently rewritten? It's absolutely something to ponder as this political landscape continues to evolve. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.